10 biggest questions about the Texans rookies in 2024. Some of them will be answered at camp. Some of them, it'll take a whole season to figure out, maybe even longer. Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas
10 biggest questions about the Texans rookies heading into the 2024 season. The beauty of this is training camp, which is a couple months away, is when you see this stuff kind of shape up, whether it's a guy you don't expect to be an immediate contributor kind of flashing in camp, or it's a guy like Tank Dell last year that you look at and immediately say, okay, this guy can ball, or CJ Stroud doing his thing. A lot of times in camp, that's when this stuff really shapes up. I have the luxury of being right there on the field at camp, the radio show, which is in the Loop, Sports Radio 610, 10 to 2 Central on the Odyssey app and right here on YouTube. We broadcast from there. So we have that luxury, and we try to give you as much insight as possible. And then sometimes with rookies, you don't know. Sometimes they start off good, then they have bad second years. Sometimes they have bad first years, and then they have good second years. Sometimes they're late bloomers. That's the beauty of it. But there are 10 questions that I think we need to look at in the short term when it comes to this Texans rookie class. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along as well. This is kind of a class where I don't know that you have as many immediate contributors as next year, but you do have some chess pieces. You have a guy who could end up being one of your starting tackles when CJ Stroud is no longer on his rookie contract. You have a corner who could develop into a top 2 guy, might not be asked to do that this year. You have a safety who has to go through some growing pains. You don't know how he fits, but he could contribute. And you have a lot of other guys that the coaching staff will work with and could be early contributors, could be late contributors, could end up being bust, could end up being great. That's the beauty of this. There's a wide range of possibilities when it comes to rookies. We'll start with question number 10, and we'll go down to 1. Question number 10, will any of the late picks shine? You look at the late guys. I'm focusing more on Marcus Harris and Henderson. Like, will either one of these guys stick out? We've seen Kurt Heinisch at the defensive line position. He made an immediate impact. He's been on the roster for a couple years. Saw it with Roy Lopez. A lot of people thought the Texans needed a D lineman. They waited till late in the draft to take Harris. Could he shine? Henderson. Could Henderson end up being a better version of Austin Deculus, which you might roll your eyes at, but Austin Deculus started some games. He started a game at tackle for this squad. So will any of these guys shine, and will any of these guys make contributions in their rookie year like the previously 2 mentioned guys did, and they were undrafted, or at least one of them was. Question 9, does Stover move around? Cade Stover at tight end. Is he going to be a guy? Because if you watch him at Ohio State, there's a lot of times where they're moving him around. It's almost like the same role as an Andrew Beck. Do we see him playing traditional tight end and moving around kind of like Andrew Beck? That's something we'll see early in camp. How are they using him? Is he going in motion? Is there a lot of versatility? Does Stover move around? Question number 8, does Lassiter look slow? Kamari Lassiter's 40 time has been a popular topic around here. Some say it doesn't matter, point to the advanced metrics. Some say he can just play football. He's not a track guy. Well, let's be honest, speed does matter. And sometimes guys who don't look slow in college, a lot of times they look slow in the pros. The beauty of this one is he's going to be going against some pretty damn good receivers in camp. I remember when Derek Stingley first came into the league, the wide receiver core was okay. It wasn't great. So, of course, he was going to look awesome. I remember there were some D linemen on the Texans that would look awesome, but that was when they had a bad O-line. The beauty for Lassiter is in practice, he's going to be going against Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. So we're going to get a good grasp of what he looks like in man coverage. Does he look slow? Question number 7. Can Jamal Hill be a two-phase, two-down player? Two-phase, two-down player means we talk about the 3 phases of football: offense, defense, special teams. Can Jamal Hill be a guy who can cover tight ends on 3rd down and play special teams on 4th? A lot of times when you draft a guy where he gets drafted, you're trying to develop him into a 3-down player. maybe Jamal Hill could develop into that eventually, but based on his skill set, based on the fact that the majority of his football experience is at safety and guarding tight ends and number 3 wide receivers, and he only has 1 year as a linebacker, see ball, get ball is kind of his nature when it comes to special teams. And then maybe it's not as difficult for him to guard tight ends like it is for like a Henry To'oTo'o last year because of his safety background. So can Jamal Hill develop into that? I'm keeping an eye on him, and I'm wondering if maybe he's a little more of a contributing player in 2 out of 3 phases earlier than anticipated. Question number 6, where does Fisher work in camp? I'm really intrigued by this. We know Fisher went to Notre Dame as a left tackle. He spent the majority of his time at right tackle. Is he working with the 2s at left tackle? Is he working at right tackle? I anticipate him working at both, but where are they going to have him the majority of the time? Because he's going to play. But where are they going to have Fisher working primarily? Is he primarily the backup right? Is he primarily the backup left? Going to be a lot of moving, but where does he line up in camp? Question 5, can Jawhar Jordan return kicks? I know a lot of people get lost in the sauce when it comes to running backs, and the legend of Arian Foster seems to grow every time the Texans draft a running back late or bring a running back in. But Jawhar Jordan's key to making this squad, first and foremost, is going to be if he is by far the best kick returner. That's going to get him on the active roster. I'm not going to hold my breath as to whether or not this guy can contribute in the run game. I know we get excited about it. You start to look into it. You start to convince yourself of it. But can he return kicks? That's question 5. Question 4, is Bullock able to develop into a starter? I like Kalen Bullock a lot. I think he's going to be a very good piece for this team. There might be a little bit of protection for him early on where they're trying to put him in the right place situationally. How do they think he fits in with Ward? How do they think he fits in with Petrie? But eventually, if he can develop into a starter, let's say week 7, 8 or something like that, if we feel like he's a starting caliber safety and the mistakes are minimal, is Bullock able to develop into a starter? I would not bet against it. Question 3, can Stover block at the NFL level? If the answer is yes, he's going to play a lot. There's plenty of opportunity for you because Dalton Schultz is not an elite blocker. Brevin Jordan's not a very good blocker. And Tegan Quintariano cannot stay healthy. Stover's only been playing tight end for a couple of years. There's some good tape of him blocking. There's some bad tape. There's a little bit of work in progress nature that Nick Caserio has touched on. If he can block at the NFL level, he's going to be on the field perhaps often, but he's damn sure going to be out there early. Question 2, what will Fisher's role be? We anticipate Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil being the starting tackles. What will Fisher's role be? What is he going to be? He's the swing tackle. And how is he going to look when he plays? Because he is going to play. There's a very small chance that Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard play all 17 games. What will Fisher's role be? Is he your backup left and right tackle? Is he immediate swing tackle? Where does he look most comfortable at camp? What will his role be? And question 1, where does Lassiter fit in? A lot of this isn't really up to him. How does Okudah look? How does Henderson look? Where does Lassiter fit in? Is he a really good nickel? Is Desmond King the superior nickel guy? Where does he fit in? A lot of these questions might not be answered early. Again, these are kind of long-term-ish, if we're being realistic, types of rookies. Could they pleasantly surprise? Yes, but I think these were more chess pieces than checker pieces. These pieces were, and these picks were made not with just this year in mind. So those are the 10 questions about the Texans rookies. Did I miss anything? What's your answer to the questions? Put it in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in this together. Thanks for coming through the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what.